Coming up next, high school volleyball on your sports leader in Lorain, WLCS TV 20.
Welcome to Girls Varsity Volleyball on WLCS TV 20. Alongside Joe Bach, I'm Rob Polinsky. This should be a good week, a good one in Lake Erie League play as both teams are undefeated in league play. It's the 5-3 overall, 3-0 in Lake Erie League play. Lorain Titans against the Bedford Bearcats, who come in 7-3. They are 4-0 in league play. So the winner of this one will get a game up on the other, their first of two meetings in the Lake Erie League this year.
Rob, if they're 4-0 in the league, that means they've beaten Maple, correct?
You know, I didn't ask who they've played, but I think you're right. I think they've played everybody once. This would end the first round for them. So I think you're correct, Joe, although I can't say that 100% for sure.
Yeah, Bedford's supposed to be good. This should be an exciting match.
So it'll be Bedford. They will start by serving to Lorain. And starting will be Tamaya Reese. So Tamaya Reese will begin the match by serving. Both teams wearing white jerseys, so it's Lorain returning the serve right now. And from the back row, putting it over. Now the set, Layla Carrion gets sent over by Malaya Amador over to the Bedford side. And for the Bearcats, left side of the front row, hitting that over is China Martin. And it's a point for Lorain as Emily Van Horn gets the Titans the first point. Let's take a look at the starters for Lorain. Angelica Patterson, Emily Van Horn, Sydney Patterson, Seven Townsell, Evelyn Williams, Layla Carrion. And going back to serve is Marissa Sturgill, who just checked in. Sturgill with a good line drive serve that's taken from the back row. Donna Carter will hit it off the rafters. Point for Lorain. Titans lead 2-0. The starters for Bedford: Gabrielle Wapple, Danae Carter, Tamaya Reese, Shamar Johnson, China Martin, Logan Odom. And they are coached by first-year coach Kalia Watts. And the Lorain Titans also a first-year head coach, Chantel Jackson. The set and the kill by Seven Townsell is good, and the Titans take an early 3-0 lead. So the Titans off to the good early start, leading 3-0. Again, you play to 25 points. You must win by 2, and it's 3 games out of 5 or 3 sets out of 5. And there's a nice first serve, a nice long serve, I should say, by Sturgill. It's an ace. It's 4-0 Lorain. So the Titans answering the challenge here early on. Sturgill, a junior. A good deep serve, and that one is just wide, just out. Oh, I'm sorry. They say that's in.
I think it just barely caught the line there.
I think so. I'm sorry. I read the body language by the referee. I thought he was saying out of bounds, but saying in. It's 5-0 Lorain.
Great start.
Yes, it is. Now the Bearcats try to set up the offense, but the pass was too far into the net, and unable to play that was Gabrielle Wapple, and Lorain out to a 6-0 lead. So Marissa Sturgill doing a good job serving here for the Titans. She wears number 8 on that white jersey. You see her right there serving. There's a nice line drive serve. That Wapple will set. The kill from the middle of the front row is good. And Bedford is now trail 6-1 as they get their first point. That was Shamar Johnson with the kill as Lorain was called for a violation on that return. And it's 6-1 Titans. And Wapple will go back to serve for the Bedford Bearcats. She has a good deep line drive serve. That's set and the sent over by Carrion. Set, Seven Townsell with the kill, and it's good, and the Titans get the serve back, get a point. They lead 7-1. Now serving for Lorain will be Emily Van Horn. Emily, a junior. Left side of the front row for the Bedford Bearcats. Sending that over is Tia Kubalins. And Van Horn plays it for Lorain. In the back row, the Bearcats send it over. Van Horn dives to keep it alive. Sent over by Layla Carrion. Now the Bearcats hit it, and back there is Van Horn to try to get to it. Cannot. That was well placed by Bedford. They get the point. They trail 7-2. So Lorain with the first 6 points of game one with the early 6-0 lead, now trail 7-2. Their serving is Shamar Johnson, and that is long. It's out. Point for Lorain. Titans lead 8-2, and it'll be Seven Townsell, a senior, to serve. Townsell with the jump serve, line drive, and it's off of the receiver for Bedford. Unable to play that was Tamaya Reese. Give the ace to Lorain. They lead 9-2.
Very nice serve, hard to handle.
Yes, it is. And now it'll be a substitution for Bedford. Jayla Bell will check in. Jayla, a sophomore. Seven Townsell, one of 4 seniors on the Lorain roster this year, serves it. And from the left side of the front row, unable to put it over, is Logan Odom. Point to Lorain, they lead 10-2. Coach was teasing Logan Odom before the game because that's the 3rd different jersey she's worn this year. She was trying to get me the correct number, and she asked her, are you 11 or 17? And Logan looked at her coach, Kalia Watts, and said, I'm 13, coach. So we've got a first time out here of game one by Bedford. We want to remind you that Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable. You can like Lorain City Schools TV 20 on Facebook and win great prizes. Follow us on Twitter at LCS_TV 20 or follow the YouTube station, Lorain Schools TV 20. Check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs.
Yeah, YouTube channel's been pretty hot. We're closing in on 800,000 views now.
That's awesome, Joe. So after the timeout, Lorain will serve at Seven Townsell in game one with her team up 10-2. Townsell with that jump serve, another good line drive serve that the Bearcats put over the net and out of bounds by Donna Carter. That gives the point to the Titans. It's 11-2. Hard to control those line drive serves.
Oh, they come right at you.
Yep. That one is into the net, so the point goes to Bedford. It's 11-3. And going back to serve for Bedford is China Martin. And her jump serve comes up short. The point will go to the Titans. They lead 12-3. The only negative I see on that jump serving, Joe, is right there, and we've seen it a couple times, is I think it's a low percentage. Sometimes you just can't get it over the net. Layla Carry-On sends it over to the Bearcats. Donna Martin will shoot it back over to the Titans. Emily Van Horn sets up Carry-On, who does a good job, and it's hit out of bounds. Point to the Titans. They lead 13-3. So early on in game one, Lorain very much on their game, leading 13-3. Layla Carry-On sends it over. Set by Wapple. Sent back over to Van Horn. And now the set, and for the Titans going for the kill, they get the point off of Malaya Amador. 14-3 Titans. So a 6-0 start for Lorain, and they've never looked back. No lead changes, no ties in this one. Set. And then a good spike in on the left side of that front row. Jayla Bell, the sophomore, with the point. 14-4. Bearcats down by 10. And going back to serve is Tia Kubalins, a senior. And that one is long. Nice job by Van Horn and Seven Townsell in the back to communicate. Let that one go out of bounds. Let it go over their heads. Point goes to Lorain. They lead 15-4. Serving is Evelyn Williams for the Titans. Dug out by Van Horn. Set. Seven Townsell from the middle of the court puts it over the Bedford block. Point for the Titans. They lead 16-4.
So far, so good for the ladies. Very few, if any, unforced errors, and Bedford's had a boatload of them.
Yeah, they look pretty good here early on. And the Bearcats putting it into the net. Donna Carter couldn't hit it over, so the Titans get the point. They lead 17-4. Williams sends it back over. Set by Wapple. There's the kill for the Bearcats. Dug out nicely by the Titans. Van Horn, left side of the front row, sends it back to the Bearcats. And that's beautifully played, and it's going to be a point for Bedford as over there Gabrielle Wapple put that one down and gave the Bearcats the point. They trail 17-5. And Donnie Carter goes back to serve. Donnie, a junior. Carry on with the set. And it's sent over by Sydney Patterson for Lorain, and the Titans get the point. They lead 18-5.
Nice passing, nice net play. So far, so good, Rob.
Yep, I agree with you, Joe. Titans looking very good today. There's the serve by Angelica Patterson. Left-handed serve. You don't see that all that often. Van Horn will send it over for the Titans, and there's a point in front of the diving defender for Bedford, and it's China Martin. She couldn't quite get to it. It's 19-5 Titans. Angelica Patterson, the senior. Good deep serve. Dug out, passed ahead. Wapple with the set. There's the kill. Blocked nicely by the Titans at the net. Again, Seven Townsend, middle of the front row, and it's a good kill by Wapple. Give the point to Bedford off of Layla Carey on 19-6.
Yeah, nice play both sides. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat.
Yep, and the Bearcats, though, get the serve back, but they have a long, long way to go, trailing 19-6 here in game one. Patterson to carry on. Carry on, instead of setting it, will send it over to the Bearcat side, middle of the front row, and that one is just long, just out of bounds. Point to Lorain. It's 20-6. Grandparents were honored here before the game of the different players in the freshman, JV, and varsity levels.
Yeah, I missed it. I know you were telling me it was a great ceremony.
There's the serve, and it will be sent back by Diamond Lyman, who's into the game for the first time for Bedford. Carry on with the set. Seven Townsend puts it off the top of the net, and a point for Lorain. It's 21-6. I can honestly say, Joe, this is the first time I've seen a grandparents being honored before a match, but yeah. I know more and more grandparents more and more involved with kids, and good to see a lot of grandparents here tonight.
Yeah, decent crowd tonight.
Marissa Sturgill with the serve. That one is killed, but it's out of bounds, just out. And it's 22-6. Titans 3 points away from taking a 1-0 lead. Wapple with the set. Left side of the front row, well out of bounds by China Martin. The Titans are 2 points away from game one.
I am shocked, Rob.
I am too. They really have come out with that 6-0 lead and have never looked back and have played very, very well. Not just the lead, Joe, but how they've played.
Yes.
That miss hit there by Sturgill gives Bedford a point. It's 23-7.
Yeah, I hope that continues the rest of the night. Very few unforced errors. That's one thing I always look at.
Gabrielle Wapple with the serve for Bedford. She'll send it back to the Titans. Dug out there by Evelyn Williams. Angelica Patterson will send it over, but it's out of bounds. Point to Bedford. And for the first time in game one, if I'm not mistaken, the Bearcats get 2 straight points.
I believe you are correct.
Yep. That's the first time they have gotten 2 points in a row. They trail 23-8. That tells you how dominant Lorain has been. Seven Townsend with the kill. It's good. And it's game point for Lorain. And going back to serve is Emily Van Horn, and let's see if the junior can give the Titans a 1-0 lead here. Van Horn line drive serve. And we get a miss hit on the Bearcats, and there's game one to the Titans. So game one goes to Lorain. And after game one, it was Lorain 25, Bedford 8. We'll be back with the second game. You're watching Girls Varsity Volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Which of the angles on the board are the one from the quiz on Friday? Jaden?
Research shows more and more 12 to 15-year-olds have arteries similar to that of a 45-year-old. But it doesn't have to be that way. Don't let your children grow up too fast. Encourage them to act their age through regular exercise and healthy eating.
Game 2, girls varsity volleyball. Boy, Lorain very impressive in game 1. They'd win it 25-8. The Titans scored the first 6 points of game 1 and were never threatened. And they'll start game 2 with a serve, and it's Marissa Sturgill who served the first 6 points of game 1. She serves it long out of bounds. And with that missed serve, Bedford gets their first lead of the match, albeit on a missed serve. It's 1-0. And now serving for Bedford will be Jayla Bell. Bell sends it over. Patterson digs it out. Played ahead. Seven Townsend puts it over to the Bedford side. Miscommunication. Point to the Bearcats. They take a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, some of those unforced errors there.
2 of them on the first 2 points. Jayla Bell serving for Bedford. She is a sophomore. Again, serves it to Patterson. Set. Kill by Townsend is good. Titans with their first point of game 2. They trail 2-1.
That's more like it.
And that'll put Emily Van Horn to serve for the Titans. Early stages, game 2. Titans trail at 2-1. Van Horn with an excellent serve. Misplayed there. And you see in your picture that time a head coach going over to get the volleyball, Kalia Watts. Her first year for the Bedford Bearcats. Had a chance to talk with her before the game to go over pronunciations and starters, team record, that sort of thing. And Coach Watts giving me some information, very, very gracious with a couple of her minutes of time during the JV game, telling me that her team is 7-3 overall, 4-0 in the league. She's in her first year as the head coach, and she's very happy with her team's play so far.
Yeah, nice record. So far, so good for Bedford.
So the Bearcats lead 3-2, and they will serve. And now Kalia Watts is having a conversation with one of the referees. You have the referee in the chair and then the one who is down low at the net. And Coach Watts having a quick conversation. Back to serve will be Gabrielle Wapple. She is a senior on this team. Wapple with the serve. Titans play it. Battling for that was Sturgill, and the point goes to Bedford. They lead 4-2. Wapple to serve, just dinks it over. Dug out there, and Seven Townsend with the kill. That Wapple's able to play. Gabrielle will send it back over to the Titans side. Nice job by Van Horn diving to keep that one alive, but it's sent out of bounds on the hit, and it's 5-2 Bearcats with their biggest lead of the game. So Bedford out in front 5-2. They only scored 8 points in all of game 1. They're almost there already. Wapple with a nice serve that the Titans were able to get to. Patterson can't come up with that, and Bedford out to a quick 6-2 lead in game 1 as they want to get back and tie this match at a game apiece if they can. But a long, long way to go in game 2. Wapple sends it over. Carry on. Seven Townsend blocked right back at her. Townsend this time puts it back over to the Titans, and Patterson hits it out of bounds. Point to Bedford. Bearcats with the momentum here early, Joe, leading 7-2.
Yeah, need a little better communication on that. I think that one was going out.
5 straight points for the Bearcats after we were tied at 2. Wapple with the serve. Seven Townsend has a block right back at her. 8-2, and what a block that time for the Bearcats, and that was Shamar Johnson with an excellent block and a timeout for Lorain. So the Titans take the timeout, and Bedford leads 8-2. And while you take a look at that Bedford huddle, I want to let you know that the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, the LSHOF, is now accepting applications from individuals and teams for consideration by the committee to select those to be inducted with the class of 2018 into the Hall of Fame at the enshrinement banquet in May of 2018. Nomination forms and eligibility rules can be obtained at LSHOF Museum at the Lorain High School campus or online at LorainSportsHallOfFame.com or by calling Bill Rufo or Bob Lasicki. Bill Rufo, 440-282-2045. Bob Lasicki, 440-245-2829. Deadline for the receipt of the application is at the end of September 30th of this year. Joe, I know you weren't here. The first match I had with Erie Catholic, but it was Bob Schlumbaker was here, and
Yes.
I told Bob that I was going to nominate him.
There you go.
But, he said, I'm nominating Bob Schlumbaker for the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame.
Lorain Sports Hall of Fame is the Lorain social event of the year.
And if Schlumbaker gets in, I'm coming to hear that induction speech. 9-2 Bearcats lead.
Well, I'll be there recording it because I have done that for the last 16 years.
I got you. So you know what it's about. Gabrielle Wapple to serve. Her serve is out of bounds. Point to Lorain. It's 9-3. So let's see if the Titans can get back into game 2 here. They trail 9-3, and serving is 7 Townsville. Townsville line drive serve. It misplayed on the pass by Tamaya Reese. Good serve. Point Lorain. They trail 9-4. Townsville off the top of the net, onto the Bedford side. Set, the kill is blocked right back by the Titans. And on the third hit, Layla Carrion sends it over. Emily Van Horn. And they'll get to it on the third hit. Sydney Patterson put it back to the Bearcat side. Point Lorain. Titans with 3 straight points.
Nice free ball to hit it in a blank spot there. That was really good. Nice volley.
They trail 9-5. And again, serving is Townsville. Townsville that time off the top of the net. And it's a point for the Bearcats. They lead 10-5. Serving is Shamara Johnson for Bedford. Shamar into the net. Point goes to Lorain. They trail 10-6. Layla Carrion will do the serving for Lorain. She's a senior. Carter to Wapple. Left side of the front row, sent back over by the Bearcats. Set by Carrion. And it's blocked right back at her by the Bearcats. And the Titans get it on the third hit. Carrion, I think they surprised Bedford there. They get the point. I think Bedford gave up on the play. They thought the point was over, and the Titans get it.
I think you're right, Rob.
And Lorain trails 10-7 as they try to get back into game 2. They trailed by as much as 9-2, and Layla Carrion to serve. Carter to Wapple, middle of the front row, sent over and in. Nice point there. Just getting that over was Tia Kubalins. Point to Bedford. They lead 11-7.
Yeah, this is more of what I expected.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Coming in now with Jay LaBelle. Again, both teams undefeated in league play. Bedford's played one more league game than Lorain. The Bearcats 4-0. Lorain 3-0. Dug out beautifully by Townsville to keep it alive. Blocked by the Bearcats. There's the dink, and it's good by the Titans. They trail 11-8.
Titans are digging tonight.
Yep. You know, those little dinks, Joe, they go over that front row and in front of the back row, and sometimes you find that hole in the defense.
I'm more impressed with their digging out those spikes.
Yeah, there's been a few of them. You're right. Those tough spikes they've been able to do. Wapple sends it over to the Titans side, and on the second hit, they can't get it off the net. Point will go to Bedford. They lead 12-8.
But you're right. Lorain's been surprising Bedford on some of the returns. They expect to pass, and they dink it over the net.
Kubalins with the serve. There's Carrion with the set. Patterson sends it over to the Bearcats. And miscommunication by Bedford that time. It looked like Kubalins and China Martin each thought the other girl was going to get it. And it falls to the floor. Lorain's point, they trail 12-9. Kubalins comes out, and coming in for the Bedford to the back row is Diamond Lyman. And that serve by Patterson is out. Too long. Point for Bedford. They lead 13-9. Those are those unforced errors that you talk of, Joe. Patterson to Carrion. Good effort by the Titans to keep it alive and send it back to the Bedford side. The set, the kill, the point. Shamar Johnson cranked that one up and put it down, and the Bearcats lead 14-9. Carter. Carry on. 7 Townsville, and that's out of bounds. 15-9 Bearcats. Bedford has led the entire way except for a tie at 2. 1 tie, no lead changes in game 2. Cross-court hit out of bounds by Malaya Amador. Point to Bedford, and the Bearcats have equaled their biggest lead of 7 points in game 2. They led 9-2, and now they lead 16-9. So twice they've had 7-point advantages in game 2. Van Horn puts it into the net. Bedford with their biggest lead of game 2. It's 17-9.
Rob, they've had at least 7 unforced errors in this game.
Been a lot. Danae Carter, and there's an unforced error on Bedford. The missed serve out of bounds. Danae Carter give the point to Lorain. They trail 17-10.
Critical point of the set here.
Going back to serve as Marissa Sturgill. Set by Wapple. Shamar Johnson with the kill. It's blocked out of bounds. Point for Bedford. 18-10 Bearcats. So the Bearcats trying to even up game 2. That serve will go just long, just out of bounds. That was closer than it appeared at first. Jay LaBelle just put that one out of bounds. Point for Lorain. They trail 18-11. And Emily Van Horn to serve for Lorain, and the Titans need 4 or 5 points here to get back into it. They trail by 7. Carry on set. Middle of the front row. 7 Townsend with a kill. It is in. Just in. And it's 18-12. Bedford by 6. Let's see if that Townsville kill can get them going here. Van Horn serving. That's too long, out of bounds. 19-12. Bedford with the lead. Boy, what you really hate on those, Joe, is you just don't give your team a chance.
Right.
If you just serve it in,
sure,
whether it's a perfect serve or not, just get it over and make the other team play it. Right side of the front row, 7 Townsville puts it over to the Bedford side. Wapple will hit it into the net. Point for Lorain. It's 19-13. Bearcat lead is back to 6. And 7 Townsville will serve for Lorain. Both teams wearing white jerseys tonight.
Yeah.
Lorain serving. And they have blue numerals and Bedford with green. That's really the only difference. And there's a block to the net by the Titans. Emily Van Horn plays it. Over to Marissa Sturgill with the set, and the spike is out of bounds. Too long by Sydney Patterson. 20-13 Bedford. So if you're just joining us, Lorain won game 1, 25-8. But Bedford, right from the get-go of game 2, had a little different focus. There's one off the top of the net that Sturgill plays back beautifully to the Bedford side. Wapple back to the Titans. Set by Sturgill, right side of the front row. Carry on with the kill, it's good. Titans get the point, they trail 20-14.
All right, we need to rip off 4 or 5 in a row here.
Agreed. Layla Carry-On will see what she can do, the senior. Wapple, long way to run to get to that one and hit it out of bounds. Point to Lorain, it's 20-15. Titans down 5. If they get 2 or 3 more points here in a row, Joe, it could get real interesting. Just off the top of the net. Wapple sends it back, and Danae Carter over to the Titans side. Set by Carry-On. Middle of the front row. Patterson, it's good. And it's 20-16. Titans within 4. Sydney Patterson, the junior, put that one down. Carry on again to Carter. Back row. Wapple plays it. Got to get over on the third hit. They do. And Johnson put it over. That one was Logan Odom putting it over for Bedford, and they lead 21-16.
Yeah, that was a big point, Rob.
Agreed. Back to serve, China Martin. Bedford 4 points away from evening this match at a game apiece. China Martin with a line drive serve, beautifully done. And there's that effectiveness, Joe. It doesn't always go in, but when it does, it's nearly impossible to play. And it's 22-16, Bedford. Martin again with a jump serve. Boy, she throws it up high. Line drive, beautifully done. Dug out by Van Horn. Back row, right side of the front row. Titans send it back over. And Tia Kubalins finds the hole in the defense, and Bedford is 2 points away from evening this match at a game apiece. 23-16. Look how high China Martin throws this ball up and then with the jump serve. There it is, and that one is sent out of bounds. Point to Lorain. It's 23-17.
Yeah, if the door would have been open, it would be in the hall.
Yeah, I think so. I think she tried to hit that into your studio. Evelyn Williams to serve for Lorain. Williams, good line drive serve. They can't get to it. Point for Lorain. It's 23-18 Bedford. So the Titans trying to come back. They've never led in game two. We were tied once at 2 apiece, but then Bedford rattled off 7 straight points to take a 9-2 lead. They've never looked back. Titans have made it interesting, but they still trail 23-18. Serve is played ahead, and Wapple tries to get to it, can't. Out of bounds, point Lorain, 23-19 Bearcats. Evelyn Williams serving, and we've got a timeout for Bedford. I think this is a good timeout for the Bearcats and Coach Kalia Watts. Try to get Lorain out of their rhythm here a little bit if they can. And gives us time to let you know about Club TV 20 at Lorain High School. As you see the Titans huddling up around Chantel Jackson and her staff. Coach Cheryl Bancic there as well. Join Club TV 20 and be a part of Lorain City Schools Television. Club members produce content for WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable and for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can do cameras, be video and still on the cameras, graphics, instant replay, switcher, Titan news, sports, or concerts. The advisors are Joe Bach, who's with me today, Mr. Bach at jbach@lorainecsd.org, or Mr. Trout at TTRAUT at lorainecsd.org. So if you want to join the Club TV 20, get a hold of Mr. Bach or Mr. Trout. Titans down by 5. Middle of the front row, game point. Logan Odom put it down, and the Bearcats are a point away from tying it.
Yeah, that was a big point. I was hoping he could hold them off from set point here.
And it'll be Tia Kubalins to serve. The Bearcats trying to tie it at a game apiece. Carry on with the set. Emily Van Horn, left side of the front row. Carter sends it over. And the Bearcats were into the net. That gives the Titans the points. Logan Odom there touched the net, and it gives the Titans a point. They trail 24-20. Again, you've got to win by 2.
All right, we need at least 4 in a row here.
Correct. And Kubalins comes out, and coming in for the Bearcats is Diamond Lyman. And Angelica Patterson to serve for Lorain. Patterson, line drive into the net.
Oh, unforced error.
Yep, game point, gives it to Bedford. And Bedford has tied this at 1 game apiece. Game 2 goes to the Bedford Bearcats. It was Bedford 25, Lorain 20. We'll take this time out. We'll be back with game 3. We are tied at 1 game apiece. You're watching Girls Varsity Volleyball. It's on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
We make Marines who overpower the desire to quit with the perseverance to prevail. Not for glory, but for honor. For a code that isn't written or spoken, but lived. It's what we do. It's who we are. It's the battle cry of our fighting spirit. Battles won. See all the battles Marines fight to win at marines.com.
Inspired inspiring city and campus, inspiring people, inspiring creativity, inspiring hands-on learning, inspiring global experiences, inspiring traditions. Be a Buckeye. Inspire.
Well, it's a brand new match. We're tied at a game apiece as Bedford begins game 3 by serving. Carry on will set 7 Townsville. Townsville cranks it up and the first point goes to Lorain.
That's more like it.
Lorain leads 1-0. Joe, what we've learned through the first 2 games, I think, is that the starts of these games are very important. Lorain got off to the good start in game 1. They won 25-8. Bedford got out to a good start in game 2, and they hung on and won 25-20. So
right.
I think early on, if one team can get the early start over the other, that could be critical.
Yep.
Left side of the front row, 7 Townsville sends it back over to the Bedford Bearcats. Again, the Bearcats this time sending it over is China Martin. The set, and it's Layla Carry-On sending it over for the Titans. Nice job by Marissa Sturgill sending that back over to the Bearcat side of the court. And Carry-On dives to get it. Emily Van Horn back to Carry-On, back to the Bearcats. Set by Wapple. China Martin's kill is blocked, but blocked out of bounds is the combination of Townsville and Carry-On. Tried to send it back to the Bearcats, but they put it out of bounds. That gives Bedford the point, and we're tied at 1 apiece here in game 3. Wapple off the top of the net. That ends up being an ace. Point for Bedford. They lead 2-1. Joe, to me, when you're tied at a game apiece, game 3, this is the most critical game.
Agreed.
Because if one team gets one, obviously someone's getting a 2-1 lead, and it really makes it hard to come back if you're the team that goes down 2-1. We're tied at 2 early stages of game 3, but I've always thought that game 3 can be really, really critical. Not so much when one team's ahead of the other 2-0, but when it's a 1-1 match.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Very
definitely.
important. Kubelin sends it over to the Titans. Third hit, Townsville, right back to the Bearcats. Wapple will hit it. Van Horn chases it down, but she hits it into the scorer's table, and that gives the point to Bedford. They lead 3-2. That would have been close. If Van Horn would have let that go,
I thought
Joe,
it was
I can't tell from here, but it would have been close to being whether it was out of bounds or not.
I thought it was going out, Rob.
Okay. And the right side of the front row, Townsville sends it over to the Bearcats. Sturgill puts it back. Townsville can't hit it over. Nice net play by Bedford. They lead 4-2. So the Bearcats, after getting blown out of the gym in game 1, 25-8, boy, they have come back nicely. They won game 2, 25-20, and they're out to an early 5-2 lead in game 3 as we see they jump serve again from China Martin. And when she can get that inbounds, Joe, that is almost unhittable.
Yeah, especially when it hits the net like that and just changes direction and just makes it really difficult.
That's actually a Shamar Johnson with the jump serve, and she hits it out of bounds. So
Yeah.
Johnson and Martin with similar serves.
Yeah.
Point to Lorain. They trail 5-3, and let's see if 7 Townsville can get the Titans right back into it. This is a battle for first place early on in league play. Wapple, great job of saving that one for Bedford. Van Horn sends it over to Marissa Sturgill, and with the kill is Evelyn Williams, the senior outside hitter. Point to Lorain. They trail 5-4. Townsville to try to tie this at 5 apiece. Jump serve. I thought it was a double hit by the Bearcats. Didn't get called for it, and now we do get an illegal hit, a double hit on the Bearcats, and we are tied at 5. So Lorain looking for their first lead since it was 1-0. Wapple, left side of the front row, sending it over as Logan Odom. Back to the Titans. Emily Van Horn hits it too deep, out of bounds. Point to Bedford. They regain the lead 6-5. And early on, this looks to be the most competitive of all 3 games that we've had so far, Joe. Both teams know how critical this third game is.
They heard you.
China Martin, I think they knew without me saying. China Martin sends it over. Emily Van Horn to 7. Townsville into the net. Point for Bedford. They lead 7-5. Joe, how's the start of the school year been?
It's been good.
Good start to the year?
Stuff,
Good.
Yeah.
Bearcats.
No complaints, not that it would matter any.
Bearcats lead 8-5. 7 Townsville can't pass it ahead. And Bedford out to the early 9-5 lead here in game 2. I'm sorry, it is 8-5.
8-5, okay.
Jump serve, out of bounds, point to Lorain. They trail 8-6.
Gosh, that jump serve has such a high risk-reward gamble with it.
Agreed. I think, maybe I'm wrong, I think they use it when they're ahead. If they're behind, I think, if I remember correctly, they weren't doing that. And probably for that very reason. Titans, Evelyn Williams off the top of the net, point to Lorain. They're within 1 at 8-7. And going back to serve is Layla Carry-On. She'll try to tie game 3 for the 3rd time. We were tied at 2, at 5, and now the Titans are trying to tie it at 8. Sending it over is Jayla Bell for Bedford. Middle of the front row, Sydney Patterson ties the match at 8.
And just when you think they're going to spike it, they stink it over.
Yep, ties game
very
3
nice.
at 8.
Very, very nice.
So Layla Carry-On serving. Another good serve. Bearcats play it. Right side of the front row, Kubelin's dug out nicely from the back by 7 Townsville. Evelyn Williams sends it over to the Bearcats. Kubelin's, Van Horn will play it. From the middle, Carry-On set, right side of the front row. Sent over by Amador, and we get a net violation on the Bearcats. Point to Lorain. Lorain leads 9-8, and it's their first lead since it was 1-0. And now we're tied at 9, as unable Amador to play that. Bearcats tied at 9, 4th tie of game 3. Carry-On, set, and it's Patterson with another kill, but the Bearcats dig it out. I think Lorain thought the play was over. They sent it over, and hitting it out of bounds, China Martin. So now Lorain gets the point, but Lorain a little premature on their celebration there, Joe.
I lost sight of the ball, too. I don't know where that came from. Wow. Nice dig by Bedford, but they got the point.
And going back to Nate Carter on the 2nd hit, is sent over on the 3rd hit. Carry-On the set. Patterson battling at the net. Bearcats right there. Patterson again. We get a whistle and a point for the Titans as one of the Bearcats was into the net. I think it was Logan Odom.
I think you're right.
11-9 Lorain. Carter plays it to Wapple. Left side of the front row, Jay LaBelle, and that one is going to be on the line. Point for Bedford. Jay LaBelle put it on the line. Well, they give Lorain the point. I thought he had, yeah, it's definitely Bedford's point. So instead of 12-9, this should be 11-10. Let's see if they fix the scoreboard. Bedford got the point, Joe, and they gave it on the scoreboard to Lorain. Now they fix it. It is 11-10. Emily Van Horn sends it over for the Titans, and it's 12-10 Lorain. So Patterson to serve. Angelica Patterson. Titans are up by 2. Patterson, China Martin passes ahead to Wapple. Wapple with the set, blocked right back over by
out of
bounds, and
yes.
Angelica Patterson lets it go on, and it's a good job back there. She didn't know where she was, and I think Evelyn Williams told her not to play it. Out of bounds, Lorain gets the point. 13-10. That's where you got to communicate, Joe.
Exactly.
Maybe she heard you.
I'm sorry, Rob.
No, you're good. Angelica Patterson leads 13-10. And hitting it out of bounds for the Bearcats is Jay LaBelle. When I told you game 3 was important, you took it serious.
I did.
Now Angelica Patterson, again, that left-handed serve, sends it over. Gabrielle Wapple, and in front of Van Horn, who tried to dive to get to it, could not. Point to the Bearcats. It's 14-11 Lorain. And going back to serve is Tamia Reese. Carry on. Right side of the front row, into the net. Unable to get it over was Malaya Amador. Point for Bedford. They trail 14-12. If you're just joining us, Lorain and Bedford varsity volleyball tied at a game apiece. You play the best 3 games out of 5. So far, we know we're at least going 4 games. And China Martin with the kill makes it 14-13 Lorain.
It's a battle for the Lake Erie League.
Yes, it is. Lorain 3-0 in league play. Bedford 4-0 overall. Lorain 5-3. Bedford 7-3. Carry on with the set. 7 Townsend cranks it up and gets the kill, and the Titans lead 15-13.
There's no stopping her when she's on her game.
Agreed, and we get a timeout on the floor. I'm assuming that was Bedford, but I didn't see that. But, well, we've got a minute here in Game 3 as you look at the Lorain huddle and Coach Chantil Jackson giving instructions to her team. I want to remind you that the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame is now accepting applications from individuals and teams for consideration by the committee to select those to be inducted with the class of 2018 into the Hall of Fame at the enshrinement banquet in May of 2018. Nomination forms and eligibility rules can be obtained at the LSHOF Museum that's right here at Lorain High School campus or online at LorainSportsHallOfFame.com. You can also do so by calling Bill Rufo or Bob Lasicki. Bill Rufo's number is 440-282-2045 or Bob Lasicki at 440-245-2829. Got to hurry up and do it. The deadline for the receipt of the application is September 30th. Joe, you said you filmed that the last 16 years.
Yes.
Not that you're counting.
No.
In a row? You haven't missed one?
No.
60. Wow.
I missed the first one because they didn't ask me, and they just assumed somebody would do it. And but I haven't missed one since 2002 is I first started doing it.
Marissa Sturgill with the serve. Titans lead 16-13.
It's a great event. We had Matt Wilhelm was inducted at the last event, which was really cool.
Okay. Sturgill sends it over. Donna Carter. They play it ahead, left side of the front row. Bearcats send it back over. Middle of the front row. 7 Townsend puts it down. Point for the Titans. They lead 17-13.
Yeah, we have regular category. We have team category. It's really nice.
Line drive by Sturgill. Wapple runs over to play it. Sent over on the third hit, but out of bounds. Just hitting that one out of bounds for the Bedford Bearcats is Diamond Lyman, and it's 18-13 Lorain. Titans trying to get a little separation here in Game 3.
Right, next couple points be big for the ladies if they can notch them here.
Sturgill with a line drive serve, and there's the point as unable to play it ahead was Donna Carter. It's 19-13 Lorain, their biggest lead of Game 3. We had 4 ties in this game, the last one being at 9 apiece. So since then, the Titans on a 10-4 run. I know we've talked about it a lot, and their serve into the net gives Bedford the point. I know we've talked about it a lot over the years that we've been doing volleyball on WLCS TV 20, but to me, volleyball is a real game of momentum, and maybe more so than in any other high school sport. Sturgill with the set. Townsend will dink it over. Dug out nicely by the Bearcats. Wapple sends it to the back of the defense. Titans are able to get to it. Layla Carry-On dinks it over. Played right back by the Bearcats. Sturgill sends it over, and we've got a net violation point to the Titans. It's 20-14. And a timeout for Bedford, their second timeout of Game 3. And it gives us a minute to tell you that Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable. Check out Lorain City Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. You can follow us on Twitter. That's LCS_TV 20. You can follow us on YouTube if you search Lorain Schools TV 20. And if you like Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook, you get a chance to win some great, great prizes. So Lorain Schools, you can find us all over social media, whether it be Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff, Facebook.
And Rob, thanks for liking some of our stuff. It comes up in my news feed. Rob liked this. I'm like, all right, Rob, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you see it and you like it, you gotta hit the button, right?
Exactly.
Emily Van Horn. Van Horn with the serve. Battle at the net. Townsell and Evelyn Williams there. There's Seven Townsell. She cranks it up and gets the kill, and the Titans lead 21-14.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, Seven Townsell, they don't list the heights, Joe. She's not the tallest volleyball player you've ever seen, but she can jump.
Yes, she can.
Van Horn with that line drive serve. There's Townsell, puts it down, and the Titans are within 3 points of taking a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, she's taking control of this set.
Agreed. 22-14 here in game 3. Van Horn, line drive, back row, played ahead, cross court, carry on. Evelyn Williams hits it out of bounds. Bedford's point, they trail 22-15.
That's all right, but another one of those unforced errors.
Line drive, Van Horn to Patterson, middle of the front row, sent over to the Bedford side. And Van Horn dives to get to it, keeps it in play, and it's hit out of bounds by Gabrielle Wapple. And the Titans are 2 points away from game 3. They lead 23-15.
Nice job of teamwork there. Her teammate was telling her out, out, out.
It's been a couple times tonight we've seen that, Joe.
I like that.
Seven Townsell jump serve, excellent job, and there's a game, now we're at game point as the return was hit out of bounds. It's 24-15. Townsell to serve to give the Titans a 2-1 lead. Great serve, and there it is. Unable to play it, then Carter. And it's been in every other game so far. Lorain in game 1, Bedford in game 2, Lorain in game 3. And the Titans take the all-important 2-1 lead.
Can they do it in 4?
We're going to find out when we come back. Game 4, as Joe just told you, is coming up next. You're watching Girls Varsity Volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
The Warriors to Work program makes it possible for wounded warriors and their families to build new lives together.
When my dad left, I was like this big, but now I'm like this big. My dad got a master's degree in human resources.
Thanks to Warriors to Work that my dad has a terrific job.
The Wounded Warrior Project helps him by, giving him another start.
Now that my dad's home, I get a lot more hugs.
I'm really proud of him.
Find out more about Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home, the brave.
Hi, my name is Denary Perkins Hammonds. I'm 17 years old and in 10th grade at Lorain High School. I'm studying graphic design through Lorain High's Career Tech Education program. I started the program this year because I like making things on computers. We've made calendars, movie posters, book covers, and CD covers. I like the creativity component. Our teacher, Mr. Pappas, is showing us how to use Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. These software programs allow me to recreate images and make images of my own design. When you walk into our class, you'll see students showing their creativity on the computers through those programs. Everyone's on task and really focused. Overall, the class is pretty good, and Pappas gives a demonstration of each project. I'm in Graphic Design 1 this year, and next year I'll be taking Graphics 2. I'm excited about it. If you're creative and like to be able to express your ideas without any limits, then this is the program for you. I'm pretty sure that this is what I want to do one day, and it's all thanks to Lorain High's Career Tech Graphic Design program.
There you get a look at the hard-working softball coach of the Lorain Titans, Pam Jackson. She works at the scores table, working the books tonight.
Gym teacher and runs scoreboard, does all kind of things through the district.
Kalia Watts, the head coach for Bedford, there in your screen, walking in front of Pam Jackson. Joe getting a good shot of the hard-working crew over there at the scores table. And it's a 2-1 lead for Lorain as they won game 3, 25-15. And the Titans will serve, trying to win this match in 4 games and taking a 1-game lead in league play. Bedford will have to win game 4 to send us to a deciding 5th game.
Let's hope not.
I hear you, Joe. Marissa Sturgill to serve for the Titans. See if Sturgill can give the Titans a good start. Nice line drive serve. And Gabrielle Wapple sends it over to no man's land. Evelyn Williams was cheating up, and Wapple found
the spot.
Yes,
yep.
She did, and it's a 1-0 lead for Bedford, and she'll go back to serve. Whoever has scored the first point has won the first 3 games, so that early start bodes well for Bedford. Townsend with the kill, sent back over by the Bearcats, back to the Titans, and there's a miss hit, 2-0 Bedford. Gabrielle Wapple, a senior, serving for Bedford. The Bearcats up 2-0. Wapple's line drive serve played from the back row for the Titans. And Seven Townsend cranks it up, hits it over. Wapple put it back over to the Titan side. Angelica Patterson. And a double hit, a miss hit on the Titans. And it's 3-0 Bedford. Chantil Jackson, the head coach. A quick conversation with Angelica Patterson. Wapple will just hit it over. Townsend gets it. Layla Carry-on with the kill. It's good off the double block of the Bearcats. Trying to go up for the block was Johnson and Kubelins, and it fell inbounds, and the Bearcats lead it 3-1. Emily Van Horn serving for Lorain. Van Horn's line drive serve just in as the Bearcats let it go. They thought it was going out, but it landed on the line, and the Titans trail 3-2.
Ace.
Yes. You like those, right, Joe?
I do.
You're against those unforced errors, but you're for
those.
the aces. For the fans keeping score at home. Kubelin sends it over to the Titans. Kubelins again as there's a battle at the net. Wapple sends it back over. Sturgill to Evelyn Williams. Well placed, but it's just out of bounds, just wide. And Bedford leads 4-2. And it's China Martin who's had a good match for Bedford. She goes back, her team up 4-2, but they trail 2-1. She has that jump serve. There's that long line drive serve, and boy, when she gets that in, it is almost unhittable. 5-2 Bedford. Martin's problem has been getting them inbounds. Basically, it's kind of an every other type deal. Martin back to serve. Again, throws it high in the air. And there's the nice line drive. Titans can't play it. Patterson can't pass it ahead. It's 6-2 Bedford. Martin again. Patterson got it to Sturgill, but Sturgill went into the net trying to play that, and it's a point for Bedford. They lead 7-2, and the Bearcats with that quick lead, just like they got in game 2. That was the one game they've won to this point. Serve is deep, out of bounds, point to Lorain. They trail 7-3 and get the serve back. And it'll be Seven Townsend serving for the Titans. Townsend's jump serve, and the Bearcats hit it out of bounds. Point to Lorain, they trail 7-4. Right side of the front row, hitting it out of bounds, cross court is Shamar Johnson, 7-5 Lorain. Townsend off the front of the net. Cross court. There's the kill. Dug out nicely by Evelyn Williams for Lorain. And hitting it over is Layla Carrion. Played back to Van Horn. Sturgill over to Evelyn Williams. Wapple's able to get to it. She'll send it over on the third hit back to the Titans. Left side of the front row with the kill, Evelyn Williams, but is dug out by the Bearcats.
Nice.
Yep, this is one of the better rallies of the match, Joe. And the Titans, Patterson, left side of the front row. Got to get it over this
Free
time.
ball.
Van
Yep.
Horn does so. This long rally continues. There's the set right side. Kubalins with the dink. It's good. And the Bearcats lead 8-5. It'll be Shamar Johnson serving for Bedford. Seven Townsell passes ahead. Sydney Patterson puts it back over to the Bearcat side of the court. Set by Sturgill, carry on into the net. Point for Bedford. They lead 9-5. Serve is long, out of bounds. Point to the Titans. Bedford leads 9-6 here in game 4. Is coming back into the Bearcat lineup is Donnie Carter. Wapple, left side of the front row, sends it over, and it was sent over by Logan Odom. Battle at the net. Right side of the front row, hitting it long and out of bounds is Malaya Amador, a junior for Lorain. Point to Bedford. The Bearcats lead 10-6. So the Bearcats trying to battle back and tie it at 2 games apiece and send us to a 5th and deciding game. We're a long way from that, but Bedford has the early lead 10-6. And the pattern tonight has been whoever gets the early lead wins the game. There's a cross-court kill by Jay LaBelle, and it's 11-6 Bedford. I think it's pretty important here, Joe, that Lorain gets back in this.
Danger point
sooner
right
the
here.
better. Agreed. Carry on with the set. There's the spike. It's going to be good for Evelyn Williams for Lorain, and it makes it 11-7. Bearcat lead is 4. Real important that the Titans stay within striking distance at this point of the game. And going back to serve is the senior, Evelyn Williams. Nice line drive serve, ace. 11-8, Bedford. Bedford jumped out to a 3-0 lead, extended it to 7-2 before Lorain got it to within 7-5. That's as close as we've been. We've had no ties, no lead changes in game 4. That hit is long, out of bounds. Jay LaBelle, a sophomore. It's 11-9. Titans are as close as they've been in a long time. Donnie Carter will send it over, but out of bounds. Titans are within a point. It's 11-10 Bedford. 4-0 run for the Titans. And hitting into the net is Evelyn Williams, and that gives Bedford a point they needed. And the Bearcats lead 12-10. They get the serve back, and going back to serve is Tamaya Reese. Tamaya sends it over. Played there. Sydney Patterson will hit it just long, out of bounds. Point to Bedford. It's 13-10 Bearcats. Sent over. Evelyn Williams puts it over to the Bearcat side. Left side of the front row. China Martin dug out by 7 Townsell for Lorain. Evelyn Williams from the middle of the court puts it back to the Bearcats, and Gabrielle Wapple sends it long and out of bounds. Point to the Titans. They trail 13-11 in game 4. Angelica Patterson to serve for Lorain. Good deep serve. Play to the middle of the front row, and Logan Odom puts it down off the beautiful set by Gabrielle Wapple. Bedford leads 14-11. Joe, that was well played that time.
It sure was.
when Logan Odom wasn't messing around. I tell you, Bedford has some big-time hitters between Odom and Johnson and China Martin. They've got some girls that can put that ball down in a hurry. Wapple with the set. There's China Martin, who we just talked about. Sends it back over for the Titans. Carry on with the set. Blocked beautifully by Shamar Johnson. 15-11 Bedford. If we get to a fifth and deciding game, I think it's worth mentioning, Joe, that those fifth and deciding games go to 15.
That's right.
Bearcats play it back to the Titans side. Patterson back over to Van Horn. Van Horn cross court. Donnie Carter to Wapple, left side front row. Martin battling at the net. Point for the Bearcats. 16-11 Bedford. And a timeout for Lorain.
I think it's a good timeout.
Yep, their first timeout of this fourth game. And we want to remind you that Club TV 20 at Lorain High School, if you want to be a career tech, with the Career Tech Education Video Production, join the Club TV 20 and be part of Lorain City Schools Television. You see Coach Chantil Jackson talking with their team. Club members produce content for WLCS TV 20 on Spectrum Cable and for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can be part of the concerts, Titan News, the sports. They need you for instant replay, switch your graphics, cameras, whether that be video or still. And you can YouTube or check them out on Facebook. Search for Lorain Schools TV 20. At Twitter, it's at LCS_TV 20. The advisors for Club TV 20 is our cameraman tonight. There's a member of Club TV 20. I'll bet you. Yep. And the advisors are Joe Bach, who's doing the cameras tonight, and Mr. Terry Trout. So you can email either one of those gentlemen.
Or stop by C122.
There you go. That's another way to do it. I'm assuming that's your room.
It is. Studio.
There's an ace, and Bedford leads 17-11.
Yeah, the kid's got to work with, like the camera he has tonight that we just shot. It's about $7,000.
You guys had a pretty neat, I'll talk about this in a minute here after we get this served. I haven't even talked to you about this yet. Donnie Carter gets it. Van Horn passes ahead. Miscommunication. Bedford leads 18-11. But Joe, when Spectrum Cable came in and did that Lorain-Erie game live on television on a Thursday, I think your kids got a good opportunity to see a live television broadcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And help out with it. And hitting it out of bounds with 7 Townsville point for Bedford. They lead 19-11.
Well, one of their crew called off, was sick, and they actually hired one of the kids to work for him for the evening, and he got paid.
Really?
So, and he worked out really well, and it might turn into something for him. So.
Huh. You know, you never know.
That's right.
You get a chance, take it. Left side of the front row, China Martin hits it off the, or out of bounds, and that gives the point to the Titans. It's 19-12. Titans down by 7.
They need a run here.
Yeah, they do.
If not, this is going to a 5th game.
And going back to serve is Marissa Sturgill. Now, there's been some times that she served very well and gotten the Titans some points. Middle of the front row, 7 Townsville puts it down. Titans get the point. They trail 19-13.
Yeah, we need about 6 more of those.
Sturgill, Marissa, a junior. The good line drive serves that are hard to pass ahead. There's another low line drive serve. Bearcats are able this time to get to it a little bit better. Patterson plays it. Van Horn, left side of the front row. Carter to Carter passed it ahead, and unable to run that down was China Martin. 19-14. So the Bearcat lead is 5. Titans have gotten 2 points to cut a 7-point lead to 5, but as Joe mentioned, they need some more of that. Sturgill line drive off the top of the net. Bedford can't play it. It's 19-15. Marissa with 3 straight serves. Timeout, Bedford. Could the momentum be going back to the home team?
I certainly hope so, Rob.
I do too. As you look at the Titan huddle, we'll let you know again about the Lorain Sports Hall of Fame, because the LSHOF is now accepting applications for individuals and teams for consideration by the committee to select those to be inducted with the class of 2018 into the Hall of Fame at the Enshrinement Banquet, and that's in May of 2018. Nomination forms and eligibility rules can be obtained at LSHOF Museum at the Lorain High School campus or online at LorainSportsHallOfFame.com. You can call Bill Rufo or Bob Lisicki. Bill Rufo is 282-2045. Bob Lisicki is 245-2829. And coming off the timeout, we have a serve by Sturgill, line drive. It's good. And the Titans, Joe, have scored 4 straight points. And don't look now, but they're within 3. It's 19-16.
Keep it going.
Sturgill again, line drive. Donnie Carter from the back row sends it ahead to China Martin. Back to the Titans. Sturgill gets it over 7 Townsville. Just gets it over the net. Point for Lorain. They have scored 5 straight, and they're within 2 at 19-17. The all-important momentum right now belongs to the home team. Sturgill serves it into the net, and the point goes to Bedford. It's 20-17 Bearcats.
And I thought about what you said earlier, Rob. I don't think Bob Schlembacher's eligible.
Oh, we'll make him eligible, Joe. 7 Townsville. That's my goal before I die, to get Bob in to your Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Point for the Titans. They trail 20-18. He's in my Hall of Fame. I want him in yours. Emily Van Horn to serve. Titans are within 2. Van Horn, great line drive serve. Donnie Carter hits it out of bounds. Titans are within a point, Joe, at 20-19. They have come all the way back.
Wow.
We have not had a tie or a lead change in Game 4. For the first tie of Game 4, could it be right now? There's Wapo with the set. Left side, Kubalins puts it over. Patterson digs it out. Set, Evelyn Williams, cross court. Nicely played by Donnie Carter for Bedford. And they're going to get the point. But great effort. Bedford gets the point. They lead 21-19. And now going back to serve. And it's China Martin. Joe, she gets it in. It's awfully hard.
Oh, geez.
Here's that
Not
jump
the person
serve.
you want serving for Lorain.
And there's a point for the Bearcats, 22-19. China Martin 3 points away from giving us to a 5th and deciding game for this match. We thought it would be closely contested. Joe, it has been that, as we are in the late stages of Game 4. China Martin that time does not jump, threw it high in the air. Sturgill with the set. 7 Townsville sends it over. Donnie Carter over to Wapo, left side of the front row. Goes back to the Titan side. Carry on with the set. Evelyn Williams with the kill. Blocked by the Bearcats, but it falls on the Bearcats side. Point to Lorain. It's 22 Bedford, 20 Lorain. Line drive served by 7 Townsville. Kubalin sends it over. Van Horn from the back. And it's hit, and it's going to be a point for Bedford. It's 23-20. The Bearcats are 2 points away from sending us to a 5th and deciding game for this match. Shamar Johnson. And Bedford gets it to game point at 24-20. Timeout, Lorain. Second timeout by the Titans. Joe, we never had a tie in this game. Bedford led 3-0, and the Titans have gotten within 1, but it's as close as they could get. But Bedford got out to that early 7-2 lead, and Lorain's been playing catch-up ever since. And you look at the Bedford huddle there with Kalia Watts, the first-year head coach, but it's been a familiar pattern in these first 4 games. Lorain in game 1 and 3, Bedford in game 2, so far in game 4, so it's been in every other game. But the other thing that's interesting, Joe, every team that has scored the first point of the game has won every game to this point.
Oh, very interesting.
So we're at game point, and it's Shamar Johnson putting it into the net, and the Titans still have life, trailing 24-21.
Well, if they could rattle off 5 points here, go home with a victory.
24-21 Bedford, late stages game 4. Right side of the front row, Kubalins puts it over, but that is a point off the block of the Titans. point to Bedford, and Bedford wins game 4, 25-21. So
go 5, Rob.
We are going to go 5. So game 4 goes to Bedford, 25-21. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the 5th and deciding game. It goes to 15, and we'll have it for you right after this timeout. You're watching Girls Varsity Volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
I was the first woman ever to deploy on a Strategic Air Command deployment.
You didn't just serve your country.
I lobbied for women to be on board submarines.
You paved the way for others.
I joined the Army because I wanted a challenge.
And the challenges you face now? Your VA delivers a variety of benefits. Learn more, including how to apply online using e-benefits.
No matter what time it is, you've earned them. Apply today.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community while continuing their full-time careers or education to help keep our nation safe at home and around the globe. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
Game 5, we are tied at 2 games apiece. This 5th game will decide this match. They're going to play to 15. Lorain starts with a serve. Sending it over on the 3rd hit, Shamar Johnson for Bedford. Played by Carry-On, gets it over to, I should say Carry-On off the set of Sturgill. Sturgill again with another set for Van Horn, and the Bearcats have it. China Martin puts it into the net, and Lorain scores the first point of Game 5. And Joe, that's been a good omen for the first 4 games. The team that has scored the first point has won each and every game. Lorain winning games 1 and 3, Bedford winning games 2 and 4.
Well, we hope that holds true in Game 5 here.
And it'll be Marissa Sturgill to serve. Her team up 1-0. Early starts have been important for both teams in all 4 games. Probably even more important now because this game only goes to 15. Bearcats get the tie, and we're tied at 1. They'll get the serve, and going back to serve is Tamir Reese. So we're tied at 2 games apiece, the 5th and deciding game, and we go to 15. Bedford 4-0 in league play, Lorain 3-0. And it will be Reese to serve, tied at 1 apiece. Bedford serving, Lorain receiving. Reese puts it over. Dug out by Evelyn Williams for the Titans. Sent over 7 Townsville. Point for Lorain. Titans lead 2-1. And it'll be Emily Van Horn, the junior, serving for Lorain. Van Horn serves it into the net. We're tied at 2. Gabrielle Wapple serving for Bedford. There's the kill by 7 Townsville, point for Lorain. The block, it fell on the Bedford side. Lorain gets the lead. They in the serve, they lead 3-2, and Townsville will go back to serve for the Titans. Line drive serve. Donna Carter can't play it ahead, and it's 4-2 Lorain. Townsville jump serve. Carter, back row. Hit over on the 3rd hit, just off the top of the net.
Wow.
The Titans do a great job of keeping it alive, and they put it in bounds. On the line, Evelyn Williams, and Lorain leads 5-2. That was a great team effort on that point for Lorain right there.
Great effort.
Yes, it was. Townsville jump serve. Her team up 5-2. Bearcats trying to play it ahead. Kubalins puts it over on the block for Lorain. Third hit, and that's going to be a point for Bedford. As unable to play that one was Patterson and Carry On, and the point goes to Bedford. It's 5-3 Lorain. And serving is Shamar Johnson, who's had an excellent match for Bedford. Sent over by Patterson. Back row, Townsell to Marissa Sturgill. Sturgill puts it over. Wapple put it back to the Lorain side. Evelyn Williams with a cross-court hit that China Martin digs out. Right side of the front row, Kubalins blocked at the net by the Titans. Sturgill with the set. Carry On with the kill, and that one is it in? Is it out? What are we doing here?
It was in.
I think they're going to replay it here.
Oh, it was in.
They're going to replay that because the officials could not decide whether that was in or out, or maybe they, I think, may have had a difference of opinion, but that's a replay. So it's 5-3, and Bedford will serve.
Ooh.
And serving will be Shamar Johnson. Johnson line drive serve out of bounds.
That one's out.
Lorain leads 6-3. And it'll be Layla Carry-On serving for Lorain. Lorain with the early 6-3 lead. Carry-On puts over to Donna Carter. Wapple, middle of the front row. Kubalins put it back to the Titan side. And we get an illegal hit, I believe, on the set. A double hit on the set, and that will give the point to Bedford. They trail 6-4. Two games apiece. We're in the fifth and deciding game here. China Martin, line drive serve to the back row. 7 Townsell for Lorain. Got it ahead to Sydney Patterson. Patterson put it back to the Bearcats. Wapple sends it over to the Titans. Set by Layla Carry-On. Emily Van Horn from the middle of the court. On the third hit, China Martin will send it over. It is just out of bounds.
That's out, yes.
Point to Lorain. They lead 7-4. And we're going to get a timeout for Bedford. So Lorain, we've been tied at 1 and at 2. And since then, the Titans have taken the early control of game 5. But again, I think it's worth noting, Joe, that in the fifth and deciding game, you don't go to 25, you go to 15. So you got to play this one a little, you got to have a sense of urgency in the fifth game because you don't go as long as those other games. So at 7-4, Bedford takes the timeout, knowing they can't fall any further behind, and you get a shot there. I'm assuming you know that gentleman?
He's one of our safety officers.
All right.
Officer Leisure.
Looks like he's holding court down there in the
keeping us all safe.
Hallway. There you go. Evelyn Williams sends it over. Donna Carter plays it. Sydney Patterson back for Lorain. Patterson again. Dug out by China Martin. Dinked over by Wapple. Set by Carry-On. Cross-court hit by Amador. Played by the Bearcats. Nice rally here by both teams. These teams are very evenly matched. And that shot is out of bounds. Cross-court on that hit by Evelyn Williams. Out of bounds. Bedford gets the point. They get the serve, and they trail 7-5. Tia Kubalins, a senior, to serve. Does so. Played by Townsell. Over to Carry-On. Sydney Patterson got it over, and the point for Lorain. They lead 8-5.
Yeah, very, very evenly matched. That's why I think this match is more important to Lorain, because next time around, the Lady Titans will have to travel to Bedford.
Yeah, that's a good point. Angelica Patterson for Lorain, and 7 Townsell goes up and gets the point for Lorain.
Big point.
9-5 Titans. Titans have never trailed in this fifth game. Angelica Patterson to serve. China Martin goes to get it, dug out, and the Bearcats can't get it over the net on 3 hits. Lorain lengthens their lead to 10-5. And
you have a wet spot.
Yep, on the floor. So this will momentarily have a pause in the action as they will wipe that off as the Titans lead it by a score of 10-5. Again, resetting this, if you're just joining us, we are tied at 2 games apiece with this battle of unbeatens in the Lake Erie League with Lorain and Bedford. Lorain won Game 1 and Game 3. Bedford won Game 2 and Game 4, and that's how we've gotten to this 5th and deciding game with the Titans leading 10-5. And serving, Patterson with the serve. China Martin, back row for Bedford. Logan Odom had a block right back at it by Townsville. And Lorain gets the point. They lead it 11-5. Odom went up, and Townsville met her right there, Joe, and put it straight down.
Townsville's had a whale of a game.
That was impressive.
Serving,
right
net
there.
play, you name it.
Because Logan Odom can put it down from there, and Townsville went up to get it and blocked it right back at her. Titans with a commanding 6-point lead. Cross-court hit off the block of Lorain gives Bedford the point and the serve. It's 11-6 Titans. Donnie Carter to serve. High serve. Played by the Titans, right side of the front row, and we're going to get a point for Lorain as Malaya Amador gets the Titans the point. It is 12-6. Substitutions now for the Titans, and Marissa Sturgill will come back in to serve. Titans are 3 points away from this match. Sturgill, good line drive serve, played from the back row by Diamond Lyman of Bedford. Patterson, third hit, Emily Van Horn back over. Lyman dove to get it, does so. Bearcats keep it in play. Now the ball on the Lorain side of the court. Whistle and a point for Bedford on a double hit by the Lorain Titans. 12-7. Titans lead by 5.
Hey, Rob, well, we got a lull in the action here. After this game, do you want to take a break or do you want to just close it?
You're the boss. You tell me however you want to do it. Patterson with it. I can go either way.
Okay.
Townsville sends it over. That one's going to be hit out of bounds. It'll be Lorain's point. They're 2 points away from the match. However you want to do it, Joe.
We'll just close it out so you can get home.
Is that what you want to do? We can,
sure.
We can figure that out.
All right.
Emily Van Horn serving. Van Horn line drive serve. China Martin will put it down, and it's good. And I'm sorry, that's Shamar Johnson for Bedford. Makes it 13-8 as the Bearcats try to stay in it. And going back to serve for them is Gabrielle Wapple. And Bedford now needs to get 3 or 4 points in a row to get back into this. It's 13-8. Lorain is 2 points away from the match. Wapple sends it over to the Titans side. Patterson on the third hit gets it back over, and that's a double hit, match point.
Yes.
14-8. Again, the 5th game only goes to 15 points. 7 Townsville serving for the match.
As nobody else, you want better serving than 7.
There's the jump serve off the top of the net. Wapple with the set. Left side, Kubelin sends it over to the Lorain side. Sturgill set. Evelyn Williams dug out by Carter. Wapple to China Martin. Martin sends it over on the third hit. And the Titans, Townsville right back to the Bedford side. Bedford will set up the offense. Right side of the front row, Kubelins. Sturgill digs it out. Set by carry on Evelyn Williams. There's the match.
There it is.
And the Titans come out with a 15-8 5th game, and they win this one. Hard fought.
Wow.
Lorain.
Kudos to both teams.
Yes, in 5 games it was Lorain 25-8, 20-25, 25-15, 21-25, and then 15-8 in game 5. Lorain with a win. They go to 6-3 overall. 4-0 in league play. With a loss, Bedford drops to 7-4 overall. 4-1 in league play. And Joe, I think a couple things are worth mentioning. Neither team could ever win consecutive games. It was in every other game. Lorain won game 1, game 3, game 5. Bedford won games 2 and game 4. And the one thing that we noticed, whatever team scored the first point in every single game today, Joe, that team went on to win that game. So the starts were critical in each game for both teams. And for Lorain, they win it 3-2, and they remain undefeated. And the rematch at Bedford later this year, that's going to be interesting. Bedford will get their chance back at home to see what they can do. But a great night of volleyball, I thought, here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Real impressed with the ladies. Saw a lot of good communication, a lot of great passing, a lot of teamwork tonight.
Agreed. It was a fun night here at Lorain High School. I think that's just going to about do it for our coverage here tonight. Again, congratulations, Chantil Jackson and the Lorain Lady Titans as they win it in 5 games. They remain undefeated in Lake Erie League play. Again, Lorain wins it in 5 games. They win 25-8, 20-25, 25-15, 21-25, and 15-8.
On Grandparents' Night.
On Grandparents' Night here at Lorain High School. Who'd have thunk it? For Joe Bach, this is Rob Polinsky saying, have a good night, and thanks for watching Girls Varsity Volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.